Hello everybody and welcome back to the channel for another LEGO build. Today we're going to be tackling the Oscorp Tower, aka Spider-Man vs. Oscorp. This set retails for 800, well I lie, this set contains 808 pieces and retails for $140 and includes 8 really cool minifigures. Now this set is less controversial in my opinion than the Star Wars wave, however Star Wars really just took the cake this year for that one. This set has a couple of questions. The main thing being, when this was announced, everybody that builds Legos, every AFOL out there, we all got excited because we said, oh my god, it's the next iteration of Marvel modulars. So, you know, we had the Daily Bugle and the Sanctum Sanctorum, the Avengers Tower, the Marvel X-Mansion, which is its own mess of a set to compare to the rest of them, but you know what I mean. And we all were very excited, and then they released the pieces and then the price, and then we all said, okay, interesting way to go. Everybody really wanted a modular skyscraper to go in their back line, and Oscorp Tower and the Baxter Tower, of course from Fantastic Four, are both huge likely candidates for it. And then they did an average playset for it. It's interesting. I'm not saying I hate this set. I think it looks rather interesting. The price is a little high in my personal opinion, especially if you're looking at piece count. But looking at piece count versus price in 2025, you'd be better off being happy about gas prices. This set has its own problems, I'm sure. But hey, it is what it is. It looks pretty solid in terms of a playset. So we'll see how it actually works out. Now, I'm imagining that a lot of mock builders or rebrickable model builders are going to really enjoy this set, because this seems like a perfect one to buy 2, 3, 4, whatever of, and then build a giant tower. I think that that's going to be its crown achievement. I've seen stuff for like the Republic Juggernaut, aka the absolute dysfunctional looking clone turbo tank, where it has some excellent mocks for it. So a bad set can in fact be rescued. Again, not saying this is a bad one. I've nicknamed this the set that could be, or the set that could have been, because it could have been great. It really could have been. An Oscorp Tower modular skyscraper would have been amazing. And I do understand that the market does need smaller Lego sets. I do understand that. And like, even then, a small, it is interesting that a $140 set is considered small. This is mid-level for Lego at this point, where this used to be considered a more expensive set back in the day. I say back in the day like I'm not in my 20s. But it is what it is. You know, it's the hobby gets more and more expensive every year. And we've really seen the price just jump this year. And of course, this will probably be, it'll be on the list of a lot of people's like not favorite sets in my opinion. I think it's sitting 4 out of 5 stars on Lego.com. And, you know, at the end of the day, this is an important thing to note. Just because somebody on YouTube or Instagram tells you not to buy a set because they don't like it or because they're boycotting, at the end of the day, this is the most important thing I can tell any of you. It's your money. You may decide what you want to buy with it. Just because a YouTuber doesn't like it doesn't mean that you won't. Doesn't mean that another YouTuber doesn't like it. Like, I might love this set, but then the next person might tell you not to buy it. It is your set. It is your money. At the end of the day, you may buy whatever you want, and do not worry about somebody in your comment section or somebody in your life telling you that you made a bad decision. It's yours. Yeah, so what? I have the MTT back there. I'm not 100% sure if that was worth, what, the $160 I spent on it, but, you know, I wanted to buy it, so I did. And I passed on the Juggernaut, not because I'm part of the boycott of this wave, it's because I just didn't want it. Not yet. I chose Optimus Prime instead, and I'm very excited for that. So it is what it is. At the end of the day, again, we're in a very odd spot for a lot of the Lego community right now, where, you know, the boycotting, and I totally get boycotting because of prices, I do. But at the end of the day, if you want a set, don't worry about people online that don't want you to buy it. Just buy it. just financially responsibly do it, but this isn't the channel for financial responsibility. We like Legos here. So thank you guys so much. I just kind of wanted to make that point because I've seen a lot of other fellow creators who purchased multiple of the MTTs or the Juggernauts or, a couple of to build custom stuff of or to review them and stuff like that. And at the end of the day, you can't be mad at somebody for spending money on what they wanted. They earned it. You didn't. So just, with all the negativity surrounding this wave and everything else with Lego and everything else in the world right now, just try and be the positive. Try to be the positive side of this, where it's you worked hard for your money. If you want to buy a Lego set, buy it because you want to. Or don't avoid it because somebody told you not to buy it. If it's a bad set, it's a bad set, then maybe. But, again, I could be here all day ranting about the semantics of this, but make sure you enjoy the wave, the hobby, and these sets for yourself, not because somebody on the internet told you that it's a bad set and that you don't like them. Reviews are always impartial. I try to always represent every set, the good, the bad, playset, collector, etc. If I determine that this isn't great for the value, then that's still up to the consumer if they want to actually purchase it. But I just wanted to cover kind of some of the mindset of some creators and stuff out there right now and try and, just give my 2 cents onto it. But I don't want to ramble on. I am excited to build this set. Now let's get started on it, everybody. Alright, everybody. So here is the final build. So I'm a little bit torn. I do like it. The minifigures, at least for the most part, I do really enjoy them. Obviously the Eddie Brock with Venom on his shoulder, it's interesting, and I'll show you guys that a little bit in closer detail. It's not my personal favorite way that they could have done it, but overall, I do really enjoy it. But we'll get to the minifigures in a moment. In terms of the actual build, again, for the price point, it's a really tough debate. It is obviously overpriced. Now, I think the best thing, like I said in the intro, is going to be rebrickable models or mocks of this. There are some neat play features, the actual webs that'll be going up and down. We have just one, which is surprising, of these translucent rods that you can put in any of the various Technic little cross holes around the actual playset. But overall, it's not bad. It isn't, I would say, probably going to be my least favorite in terms of the overpriced wave for August 1st. We have smaller pieces like Miles Morales' bike, which is pretty cool. This is supposed to go, of course, this is an action shot, but it takes away a little bit from the minifigures, so I figured that I would just kind of leave that off to the side. Now, obviously, there's going to be 2 main parts to this. If you want, you can also take apart some of the buildings and actually move them around. So, of course, you can have the mini mart. I really love the stop sign, or I should say the stoplight. I actually prefer that. I don't know if I prefer that to what I have, but when we like to set up one day, maybe we'll see. We have a little camera hidden over here for some Spidey shots, and then we can get to the actual inside of these buildings. Try and get it with the light a little bit for Morales's little setup up here. Actually, I should say Miles Morales' setup is up here. Here we have a dartboard with Spider-Man's head on it, which is pretty cool. I got the rooms confused there for a second. We got a chicken as well, and a really interesting couple of symbols on the actual computer. And then the actual mini mart is the small area underneath. Not too bad, but nothing too fancy to write home about. And then a dumpster, just like with pretty much every single Lego Marvel set, with one of the Daily Bugle pieces. In terms of the larger buildings, again, you can take them apart. It makes it a little bit easier. You can, I assume, move them around if you would like to do something a little bit different with them. But of course, Oscorp is going to be the main one. The sticker pieces look nice overall for both. Green Goblin, that design is what I'm going to actually talk about here in a little bit. But I do love the actual neon green, from the top to the bottom. It looks cool. But this is the set that could have been, in my opinion. It's so close. In concept, I really like it. It's just in execution that they didn't quite live up to it. In terms of the interior, the lobby is a little dry, in my opinion. Then we move up to a lab, which does have a spider looking at some microbes or bacteria underneath, with, of course, the symbiote DNA being a big part of this. We move up here to the goblin's actual armory with a couple of the pumpkin bombs. I like the little actual lighting system over here. Looks pretty cool. And, of course, the famous glider. If we move up a little bit, we can see, let me raise you guys up a little bit, the very top portion. You can rotate the actual tower back and forth with this mechanism here. Some cool sticker mechanics, and then Green Goblin, the system override, as well as another piece of the Daily Bugle art. So in terms of, like, it's okay. It's nothing amazing inside. Again, it's mainly about, like, that price point, you know, especially when you hit like the triple digit mark. It should be a good set, not an okay set, and it's just okay in my opinion. Like, some play features are there, but it is just not quite up to par in what I wanted to see. And of course, I wanted this to be the new modular set. Like, it's a small city scale modular, like, you know, somebody will be very happy for this set. I like it. I don't love it. We move on to the Marvelous Jewelry Store. Of course, Marvelous. Where a play feature will kick this actual piece of glass out. So that's why there's a couple broken pieces of glass on the outside. And when you rotate just to the side, we have a couple mechanisms. If you punch that off to actually knock out the glass. So pretty cool. Some more jewels, a couple more pieces of broken glass, and then you move into Miles Morales' apartment. Upstairs, you do have some like spray cans for painting Miles, which is pretty cool. Small bed area. No idea what that's supposed to be, but it's something. And of course, there's a trapdoor as well. You can just turn this little Technic groove on the other side, and you can get the little trapdoor opened up. And of course, to access said trapdoor so Spider-Man can get on his merry way, you can take off that little piece right there on the roof. So again, the builds weren't bad. Like, I did enjoy building the set. It's just in the end, it was just lackluster for the price point. I haven't looked at Rebrickable yet, but I can only assume that they're going to hopefully be like, buy 2 or 3 of these sets and then make an awesome one. I'd be willing to do that just because Oscorp Tower, as a huge Marvel and especially Spider-Man nerd, that is a very important building. So now let's take a look at some of these minifigures real quick. We of course have the main man, Spider-Man here. This is of course going to be the Peter Parker version. Nice minifigure. I'm not sure if this one's exclusive, but the arm print is really nice on this bad boy, so they did a pretty nice job, at least in terms of like the painting on these minifigures. Then we move on to one of the odder ones, which is Eddie Brock. Now, the reason Eddie Brock is a little bit odd is just because of the Venom attachment, which of course it's making it to look like Venom is like, you know, having that conversation like he does in the movies or comics. It's interesting. It's like, I don't know how they really could have done it better, in my opinion, aside from just a straight Venom minifigure, or they could have done like a custom piece where it's like half turned into Venom and half not. But I don't know the logistics of how well that would have worked. Now, one of the more exciting minifigures, arguably the most exciting minifigure, is Norman Osborn. Now, I have a debate with myself to if Norman is going to hold office or something like in the Lego City, because I do think that would be pretty cool to have him as like something special, but I'm not sure if I want to go down that route. If you would rather Norman be evil, of course you do have the Green Goblin. Now, this one is it's a debate for me. I love Green Goblin. It's a neat looking paint job, but the helmet isn't my favorite. I'm not a fan of the helmet. I don't like how that looks. They did a much more like robotic approach to the armor on Green Goblin, and personally, it's not my thing. But hey, to each their own. If that's your thing, it is what it is. There's been a lot of iterations, of course, of Green Goblin over the years. Everybody's going to have their own personal preference. Then we move on to Miles Morales. He has, of course, the hoodie on with his actual Spider-Man costume on underneath. Little Miles Morales logo on the backdrop. Another one, I would say probably the second most exciting figure here, depending on Norman versus Green Goblin, and that is Kraven the Hunter. So very, very cool minifigure. We finally have Kraven. I have no idea why the camera is picking up the blinking stoplight in the back instead, but hey, I'm trying. He stole Jewel, you know? Not big Kraven energy, but a really nice minifigure. I'm super happy to have him as part of like the Lego Marvel collection. Fantastic minifigure. Then we move on to Ghost Spider, aka Spider-Gwen. Another nice minifigure. I have plenty of her at this point. This is probably my third or fourth one, so not sure where she's going to go. Probably just sitting on the actual Marvel shelf for now, but definitely a fan of all of her minifigures. And then a new one to the crew, we have Spider-Woman. Very, very cool. Always happy to see another of the Spider Gang actually pop up, but a really solid minifigure as well. The black costume versus the red hair and the white gloves definitely looks really nice in terms of contrast. So that is it in terms of the overall review. So basically, I do like the set. I like it in theory more than in actual like execution. And again, I'm going to keep coining that. It's the set that could be, or that's the set that could have been. This could have been the next big, like I would have rather have paid $400 for Oscorp Tower than buy 3 of these to build a custom one. I just would. And, you know, everything has its place. I think this is a decent playset. I do. If you have like just facades, or you have a much smaller city scale, so not necessarily the modulars that I have in my city, but like if you have like the facades, and the reason I say facade is because there's no background to these, so it is essentially just front. You see this a lot more in Lego City because Lego City is much more playset than it is collector. When you get into the serious sets like Ideas, the heavy sets of Marvel, DC, icons, just expert creator, etc. That's when you get modulars. So this is essentially made to be city scale, and that's an obviously tough debate because Marvel has a huge grapple with, you know, expert creator for some of the best modular buildings out there, i.e. the Sanctum Sanctorum, the Daily Bugle, and the Avengers Tower. I still need the Sanctum Sanctorum, but essentially that's where the tough debate comes in. This is a neat set. I love that Oscorp Tower has finally become a thing, but just like pretty much everybody else out there, yes, it's nice to have a Marvel set that doesn't cost you $300 to $400, but if you want this to be actually part of the Marvel system, you're going to have to spend that much probably to build it. So it's just in a really tough spot. I figured once this got announced, I really, really hoped that it was going to be modular, but everything pointed to otherwise, especially when the price point came out. We knew a skyscraper was not going to be in the question. So sadly, it's going to turn into either display model on a Marvel shelf, which is where this is going to probably go for me for a hot minute, or it's just going to go in the residential area, which is kind of like my interim system. I still have to do the drive-through for Krusty's Burger and everything else like that. So that's just kind of my mixed review. Like, I mean, I would say 5 or 6 out of 10. I don't normally rate them, so like there's no scale for it, but I consider this just an average set. It's a little overpriced. Decent minifigures, I'll give it that. And interesting design. I do like having multiple. Again, it's so close. It's so close to being a cool set, but just unfortunately for that price point, I would say it is not entirely worth it. Again, as a playset, you guys might enjoy it more as somebody who displays this stuff. Like, it's an okay display, but you know, I don't want to ramble on too much. I know there's a lot of negativity around this whole wave, but the Oscorp Tower is okay. It's just the set that really could have been. So thank you guys so much for joining me for another Lego review for the August 1st wave. Like, comment, subscribe, share the video as always. If you're interested in becoming a member, I do have a link down in the description below. If you're interested in picking up this set, any of the lighting kits in the background, or any of the August 1st wave, including this set here, I will have links to the description below. They all do help support the channel as well, so thank you all so much for all the support as always. You can check me out on Get Bricked, Instagram, TikTok, etc. I'll have links to all that in the description below, and I'll see you guys next time. Happy building, everybody.